Thank you for listening to the show on Really Big Something Channel. May 14th, 2018.
The Cooner Report is powered by Kelly Financial Services. Cleaning up your financial bull. Get the peace of mind that you deserve at Kelly Financial Services.
Okay, let me ask all of you this question coming right out of the gate. Should Kelly Sadler resign? If you're asking me, Jeff, who the hell is Kelly Sadler? Listen now to this, because I'm telling you, the mainstream media over the last 4 days? 3 to 4 days? 4 days? They have been going apoplectic, berserk on this story. So, as you know, Gina Haspel is Trump's nominee to now be the next director of the CIA. She supported while she worked in the CIA. She's a career CIA employee. She supported enhanced interrogation, i.e. waterboarding. And so John McCain, from his deathbed, McManiac, has said he will not support Gina Haspel to be the next nominee because she supported enhanced interrogation and waterboarding. In a private meeting at the White House, remember, this was a private meeting, supposedly off the record, Kelly Sadler, who is a low-level communications aide, okay, she's one of these sort of assistant staffers, whatever, was in a room and they're talking about the votes. Will Gina Haspel get the votes? It looks like she will get the votes. However, it's going to be a close vote. And she made a joke about John McCain because he's not going to be able to make it back to the Senate because he's so ill now with brain cancer. It doesn't matter what McCain says about Gina Haspel. Quote, it doesn't matter. He's dying anyway. Now, according to people who were with her in the room, it was clearly intended as a joke. It fell flat as a joke. Most people didn't find it funny. Others kind of giggled a little bit, but kind of awkwardly. And right away, as everybody in this administration does, somebody ran to the New York Times and the Washington Post and began leaking. And of course, this leak was then picked up, and now it's been turned into the crime of the century. And now you have Democrat after Democrat, talking head after talking head, analyst after analyst, demanding that Kelly Sadler be fired. They're saying that she's besmirching McCain, that her comments were verboten, forbidden, beyond the pale, despicable, vile, odious, pick your adjective, whatever, that basically now she needs to be hounded out of the White House for daring to make a bad joke, a joke in poor taste about this great war hero. And now they're almost lionizing him, semi-deifying him, the conscience of the Republican Party, John McStain, i.e. McManiac. President Trump so far refuses to throw her under the bus. The White House has come out and said, look, we honor McCain. We honor his service. This was said in private. It was said as a joke, bad taste, but still as a joke. And this is a witch hunt. And there is no need now to destroy this woman, destroy her reputation, destroy her career because of a crack made behind the scenes in a private meeting. Now, listen to Ana Navarro, a big Jeb Bush supporter. She worked on Jeb's campaign. She now has become CNN's resident Never Trump Republican. She foams at the mouth when she speaks. She's called for Trump to be impeached literally, I think, 1,000 times. Everybody in the administration is a criminal, and everybody needs to be arrested. Well, listen to Ana Navarro on CNN. Forget fired. I think she wants to lynch Kelly Sadler. Just lynch her on the spot. Roll it, Brittany.
Look, of course, Kelly Sadler should be fired. And by the way, for anybody that wants to give Kelly Sadler their opinion on what she said, it's at Kelly Sadler 45 on Twitter. Look, in any other White House, she would be fired. She would be, at the very least, suspended from her job. Because what she said is offensive, it is hurtful. There are so many Americans today who are facing their own mortality, who are facing down terminal illnesses, or who have loved ones who are. And look, you know, the John McCain I know doesn't give a damn about what Kelly Sadler says. This doesn't make a dent on him. But I can only think about how this makes people like Cindy McCain, like their 7 children feel, his 5 grandchildren, his 105-year-old mother, Roberta. And it's got to be incredibly hurtful to be dealing with the illness of somebody you love so much, and at the same time hear some kook on Fox Business, take a shot at him about torture. And then hear this, White House official whose salary we are all paying take a shot at a man who is facing his own mortality and who has been serving this country and sacrificing for this country since the age of 17.
She's referring also to Cindy McCain, John McCain's wife. She at Kelly Sadler 45. Notice how coordinated all this is. So they give out her Twitter handle so everybody can blast this poor woman. Here is what Cindy McCain tweeted out. Quote, "May I remind you my husband has a family, 7 children and 5 grandchildren. Meghan McCain, McCain's daughter, who now is one of the co-hosts of the View. By the way, she never would have gotten that role on The View had she not been the daughter of John McCain. That's the only reason why she's on that show. But let that go. Was asked specifically, what do you make of Kelly Sadler's comments in private behind closed doors? Roll it, Brittany.
I really feel like I understand the meaning of life. And it is not how you die, it is how you live.
Right.
And thank you. And I always have had something to believe in. My dad's all about character and bipartisanship and something greater than yourself, and believing in this country and believing in the fact that we as Americans can still come together.
Yeah.
And that's something that I grew up in and feeds me every day. And I'm not scared of death anymore. I'm just not. And whatever you want to say in this kind of environment, the thing that surprises me most is, I was talking about this with you, Joy, that I don't understand what kind of environment you're working in when that would be acceptable, and then you can come to work the next day and still have a job.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say about it.
And also, right, I want to add.
I mean, you want to talk about a mob. Look, first of all, a couple things need to be said, and then I want to ask you, 617-266-6868. With all due respect, no, I have to ask this. I'm sorry, did I miss the memo? Brittany, you tell me if I missed the memo. Did John McCain die and come back as the second coming of Jesus? I'm sorry, did I miss something? Is he like the Prophet Muhammad? Is it like Prophet McManiac now? Where it's blasphemy to even make fun of him? Like, it's verboten to even make a joke? Punishable upon the death of your career and professional ruin? I mean, you want to talk about sheer liberal intolerance. This to me is unbelievable. So first, secondly, it was a joke. It may have been a bad joke. It was everybody said it was a joke. Okay, it was in bad taste. You're not allowed to make a bad joke in private? In a private conversation or meeting about, hey, can we get the votes for Gina Haspel? Well, what about McCain? McCain just came out and blasted her. Well, he's dying anyway, meaning he can't vote. It's a bad joke. So now we have to police people's jokes in private? This is such a fundamental violation and assault on free speech, free expression, and the First Amendment. To me, it is absolutely stunning. It is stunning. And this mob that is now calling for her head, if they win, I am telling you, free speech in America is dead. It's dead. So I got to watch now every little joke I make, as an example, with Jared or Brittany or anybody else on the company. Oh, did you hear what Cooner said about Obama? Oh, my God, this is so distasteful. Oh, my God, he's got to go. That's point number one. Point number two. Where was the liberal media in 2008? Look at him now. Oh, the conscience of the Republican Party, an American patriot, an American hero, He served this nation since he was 17 years of age. How dare you say anything bad about McStain? How dare you say anything bad about McManiac? Really? Because in 2008, you guys were calling him a corrupt mass murderer. In 2008, you vilified him as one of the architects of the Iraq War. You said he was not fit to be president of the United States. You called him a loco, a crazy. So in 2008, they spit on the guy. The entire mainstream media, he's too militaristic. He's a warmonger. He bears the blood of all the dead in Iraq. On and on and on. He was a bigot. He was a racist. Why? Because he actually dared to criticize Obama on some issues. Now, he's no longer a racist or a bigot or a warmonger or some kind of a militaristic kook. No. He's Jesus. He's the second coming of Jesus. You can't say a bad word about this guy. He's Prophet McCain. Instead of Prophet Muhammad, it's Prophet McManiac. It's Sharia law now. How dare you you do not take the Prophet McManiac's name in vain. You do not do that. Jihad, jihad, jihad. My friends, enough is enough. It was an insensitive joke. That's it. That's all. Is this still a free country? Your calls next.
And I'm not scared. I'm not scared of death anymore. I'm just not. And whatever you want to say in this kind of environment, the thing that surprises me most is, I was talking about this with you, Joy, that I don't understand what kind of environment you're working in when that would be acceptable, and then you can come to work the next day and still have a job.
Yeah.
2:20 here on the great WRKO. Okay, the liberal lynch mob is getting bigger and bigger and bigger for the head of Kelly Sadler. She is a communications aide in the White House who, in a private meeting when they were talking about a vote count for Gina Haspel, Trump's pick to be the next head of the CIA, she made a joke, and everybody in the room said it was a joke. It fell flat, but it was a joke, where she said about whether McCain will vote for her or not. It doesn't matter. He's dying anyway. For this remark in private, the mainstream media all weekend were obsessed with it, demanding that Trump fire her. Trump so far says, I will not throw her under the bus. You can call us 617-266-6868. Should Trump fire her or should he keep her? You can also text us, WRKO, so we know it's for us. Whatever your message is, 70470, 70470. This is from 781. Jeff, I'll tell you what is hurtful, Cooner Man. The recording McStain made for the North Vietnam, while captured, or the sailors that he killed, or calling Americans a bunch of crazies for supporting Trump. 978, another one. Jeff, since McCain became a bitter Judas, no, this chick should not be fired. 978, Jeff, joke or no joke, it's a fact. In other words, what Kelly Sadler said was the truth. He is dying and his vote is irrelevant now. He can't vote. Should not be fired. 781, Jeff, I say 10 times worse about that traitor McStain every day, and I don't give I got to clean this up, and I don't give a blank who likes it. All right, let's go to Maria in Boston. You're up next. Go ahead, Maria.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Maria.
He just came out and said, you know what, I'm not going to hold my tongue anymore because I'm dying. And he said nasty things about Sarah Palin. He just came out, just a couple of days ago and said nasty things about all of us Trump voters. The only reason why the left is standing up for him is because he keeps bashing all the rest of us. So, really, who cares?
You know, Maria, I want to get your reaction to this. Do you remember in the 2016 campaign, McCain was saying we have to be at least 100 years in Iraq. meaning our troops would have to be there for over 100 years. And then he made this joke about bombing Iran, which if he did, could have led potentially to World War III. Remember this? Roll it, Brittany.
Bomb Iran.
Now, that lunatic is cracking jokes about bombing a major country in the Middle East that could lead to thousands, if not tens of thousands, of our boys and girls being killed. And he thinks that's funny. Nobody minded. Maria, no problem. He wants to send our boys and girls to war. He can crack all the jokes he wants. But when somebody says something in private, it's the end of the world.
Oh, I completely agree. I know. You know, and if this is how, if I knew that I was dying in the next, you know, whatever, couple of weeks or whatever, I would not want to spend my last days here just crapping on everybody and taking that with me. Why would you do that? And why would anybody think that that's okay?
I'm with you. I am so with you. Thank you for that call, Maria. Look, I want to ask you, and I'm being serious, okay? I want to ask all of you. Whatever you think of McStain, whatever you think of McManiac, okay? You've been in the military. You were a prisoner of war for, 5.5, 6 years. You were a member of Congress. You were a senator. You were a failed presidential candidate. You know, you lost, but still you ran. And now you got a wife, you've got your children, you've got your grandchildren. You're dying of brain cancer, okay? The end is now here. It's coming. Is this how you want to die? I'm being serious. Calling Trump supporters a bunch of racists? Saying, I don't want President Trump to come to my funeral? You know, get this person fired, get that person fired, screw the conservatives, screw them, screw this. Is this how you want to be on your deathbed? Because I'm being honest with you, okay? Like I'm in the confessional. I was on my mother's deathbed. I was on my best friend's deathbed. I was with my mother-in-law on her deathbed. It wasn't this. It was I a great friend to you? Was I a great mother to you? I want you to take care of Jenny, my sister. To my best friend, can you look after my wife? To look after my 2 daughters? That's what you're thinking of. Am I ready to meet my maker? That's what it's about. It's not about settling scores and get this person fired and get that person fired and screw this person and disinvite this person. And you want to talk about, honestly, just a nasty, vicious, malicious, spiteful old man. And the more he opens his mouth, honestly, the less I like the guy. And somehow, the nastier and more vicious he is against Trump supporters, the more the media is lionizing him, to the point, I'm telling you, they're trying to make it a thought crime to even criticize this guy. But I'll tell you this, that didn't stop him 10 years ago. 10 years ago, when they wanted Obama in power, they ran McCain down day after day after day. Then he wasn't this great patriot. Then he was an evil Republican. Now that he's never Trump, anti-Trump, now he's the greatest thing we've ever had since George Washington. There's George Washington, there's Barack Obama, and then there's John McStain. Let's go to Freddie in Beverly. You're up next. Go ahead, Freddie.
Thanks, Jeff.
Hi.
I just wanted to say this adoration of John McCain, I think, is misplaced. You know, his family says that this private joke, which was never meant to be public and so was not supposed to be heard, that it was harmful to John McCain's family, to his wife and kids and grandchildren. I'm just wondering if John McCain had that same kind of sympathy for all the men who died in these wars that he was so gung-ho for. He wanted to attack Libya and go in Iraq long before it ever happened. So he doesn't have any regard for other people's families and their lives, as well as him and his father's cover-up of the attack in the USS Liberty in 1967, where 34 American servicemen died. That was a false flag attack that him and his father covered up on. He's a warmonger, and he has no regard for other people's lives, so I'm not sure. And he's spitting as he's got one foot in the grave. He's spitting at Donald Trump and everybody else. And one more thing. He stood up for Henry Kissinger when some people were protesting him publicly for all the war crimes that he's committed, and McCain thanked him for his distinguished service. When Henry Kissinger is also, there is indication that he was a double agent, worked for the KGB, and he's no one to be standing next to. So Mr. McCain has very interesting, he has very interesting friends and people who he stands up for, and other people like Donald Trump who he puts down and thinks is a lowlife.
Freddie, I want to thank you for your guts to speak the truth. John McManiac is a corrupt gangster. If nobody else has the guts to say it, I'm going to say it. He was part of the New World Order. He lined his pockets. He should have gone to prison with the savings and loan scandal he was enmeshed in the late 80s, early 90s, okay? He's as crooked as they come. He made millions and millions of dollars, pimping out his Senate seat, his office. He became part of the Chamber of Commerce. He lobbied for the open borders, free trade, amnesty lobby in Washington, D.C. All he did was sell this country down the river. The only question is for what price? And now, as he's dying, he's showing himself to be a pathetic, sore loser. A bitter old man who's just sore because Trump won and he didn't. And, can I be honest with you? Okay? Again, like I'm in the confessional. When my father-in-law, who I named my son's middle name is Luigi, or Louis, but Luigi, after my Grace's dad, because I loved him that much. When he was on his deathbed, okay, he was a builder, he worked with a lot of people, construction workers. There was some construction guy spitting on him, as we found out when he was dying. He was dying in a hospital bed, and saying, screw him. Now that he's gone, screw him. We didn't care. Some people are going to love you, and some people are going to hate you. That's life. So for them to say, oh, this low-level aide cracked a joke, and now, the wife is hurting, the children are hurting, the grandchildren are hurting. It is disgusting. It's a pathetic play for sympathy to go after Trump and his administration. I mean, literally, he's, as the previous caller put it, 1 foot in the grave, and he's still puh at Donald Trump. What a loser. 617-266-6868. There are Palestinian protests erupting everywhere in Gaza over today's opening of the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem. Evan Heidenrich is in the WRKO newsroom. He's got all of those details. What are they, Evan?
Thank you for listening to the show on Really Big Something Channel.
2:35 here on the great WRKO. Okay, my friends, is there a red wave coming in November? Not a blue wave, not a Democrat sweep, but believe it or not, a red wave coming in November. I'm going to discuss that, but first I've got to say this as a quick aside. So as I'm talking to you now, the White House press briefing is underway. Of course, you've got the huge historic news of the United States opening its embassy officially in Jerusalem, the capital of Israel. And you now have massive intifada uprisings across the entire border between Gaza and Israel. 40,000 Palestinian protesters, some of them launching IEDs, explosive devices. 52 Palestinians have been killed, over 1,300 wounded. What is the press opening with? I mean, it's now they're going into, Jerusalem now. But their first question out of the block, Kelly Sadler. Has Kelly Sadler been reprimanded? Has she been suspended? Has she been punished? Has she been fired? With everything that's going on in the world today, this is what you're obsessed about? This shows you how desperate they are to knock off any and all members of the Trump administration. Okay, now, it has been conventional wisdom for about a year and a half now, okay, over a year, almost 2 years, that the party out of power, especially the Democrats, in the wake of Trump's victory in November 2016, are going to sweep back into power in this year's midterm elections. You have the resistance movement, the Never Trump movement. The liberals are completely galvanized. The Democrats are predicting huge victories in the House and maybe even picking up seats in the Senate. They're openly bragging and talking about impeachment. Really? Listen now to Dick Morris. I know he was wrong about the 2012 election, but he's also been right about many elections. Okay? He's more right than he's been wrong. Listen now to Dick Morris tell on a local radio show, the Democrats are overplaying their hand. They think Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels is their ticket to power. It isn't. Roll it, Brittany.
They're going down the same trap, the same sort of fool's gold that deceived the Republicans in 98 is now luring the Democrats into making the same mistake this year. But I think that the Democrats are overplaying their hand. I think that they see fool's gold in these scandals, and they're putting everything behind the Stormy Daniels scandal and Michael Cohen, and the newspapers, the New York Times reports on nothing else. And the country doesn't give a damn. When you look at the two-frame picture going on TV today, on one side you see Stormy Daniels and Mike Cohen, and on the other side you see Kim Jong-un and President Trump. Guess what the American people are interested in? Avoiding a nuclear war and solving the most intractable foreign policy problem we've had over the last 30 years. And if they get distracted from that, remember how big a deal ISIS was? And it's dominated the campaign. It doesn't exist anymore. Trump has exterminated it by letting the generals loose. And this strategy of his, of confrontation as opposed to appeasement, that he's now applying to Iran, is also going to succeed. And it should be a real object lesson in the difference between Democratic appeasement and Republican strength.
I think you hit the nail on the head. If the Democrats are banking on impeach Trump, impeach Trump, impeach Trump, Michael Cohen, Michael Cohen, Michael Cohen, Stormy Daniels, Stormy Daniels, Stormy Daniels, and you've got President Trump, a booming economy. I mean, just think about it. You've got a booming economy. You now have a president who's on the verge of making peace with North Korea, avoiding nuclear war. You've got him now, look, recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and opening our embassy. ISIS has been demolished. We're finally now standing up to the Iranian mullahs. We're unleashing energy production here at home. You've got peace and prosperity. Trump can run on that. All the Democrats have is Stormy Daniels. And so come November 2018, listen now to Dick Morris say, forget a so-called Democratic tsunami. Forget a so-called blue wave. The Trump base, he's been giving him steak after steak after steak, red meat after red meat after red meat. You may see not a blue wave, but a red wave. Roll it, Brittany.
There is no blue wave coming. There's a red wave. And what makes it red is the blood of the Democratic Party.
Basically, that Trump is slaughtering the Democrats, and the Democrats are on very risky ground, and I agree with him. The more they talk about impeachment, the more they're enraging Trump's supporters, enraging conservatives, and enraging middle America. Look, I know what it's done to me. Within a couple of months, I was like, look, I don't care for the rhinos. I don't care for the establishment Republicans. If you want to vote them out, vote them out. Now I'm like, no. We have to put up a wall to prevent them from impeaching Trump and also allowing Devin Nunes and the Republican congressional investigators to uncover now the incredible corruption that has been taking place in the FBI and in the Justice Department. Now it's flipped. I'm mobilized to vote in November. So let me ask you, do you think this talk of a blue wave is more media-created hype? Do you think the Democrats are poised for an historic sweep in November? Or do you think they have so overplayed their hand, focusing on bogus scandals, Russia, Stormy Daniels, Michael Cohen? They are so out of touch and disconnected from the needs and wants of middle America that, in fact, it's not a blue wave we're going to see. It's going to be a Republican red wave. 617-266-6868. Your calls next.
There is no blue wave coming. There's a red wave. And what makes it red is the blood of the Democratic Party.
247 here on the great WRKO. That, of course, was Dick Morris now saying, look at the Democrats. Look at what they're offering. There's going to be no predicted blue wave, a Democratic tsunami. If anything, you're going to see Trump Republican voters come out in huge numbers and blunt the Democratic resistance movement. Now, I just want you to objectively stand back, just objectively. You're an independent, say in, I don't know, Michigan or Ohio or Missouri or whatever. What is Trump giving you? He's given you historic tax cuts, a booming economy, lowest unemployment rate in over 20 years, lowest black unemployment rate maybe of all time, lowest Latino unemployment rate almost in all time. Stock market is roaring, all-time consumer confidence. ISIS has been smashed in the Middle East. North Korea is on the verge of maybe giving up its nuclear weapons. And of course, today, the United States is opening its embassy in Jerusalem, in Israel. You know how many Democrats showed up at that event today? Zero. Zilch. Nada. Not one. So here you have a president who is putting money in people's pockets. Jobs and employment is now increasing, booming across the country. You have radical Islam in retreat, ISIS in retreat, North Korea now maybe on the verge of coming to heel and avoiding a nuclear war. And all the Democrats are peddling is Russia, Stormy Daniels, and Michael Cohen. And furthermore, this is now, the Democrats, an openly racist party that vilifies white people, vilifies an entire race based on the actions of a few, that believes that basic biological sex differences should be abolished, and that people's guns should be confiscated, and who favor the rights of illegal aliens over American citizens. How do you win? I mean, just objectively, what are the Democrats offering you? They're practically spitting in your face. And just to put a cherry on the sundae on this point, I want you to listen now to this ad that has been cut and is now showing everywhere. It is by the California billionaire, Tom Steyer. He's vying now with George Soros to be the sugar daddy of the Democratic Party. Now, the images are just as important as the audio, so that you understand what's being said. It is a woman who happens to be white, naturally, who's going on about her white son, naturally, and you need to talk to your children about voting Republican. And when she talks about how Republicans steal money, or how her son steals money, they show a picture of her supposed son beating up minorities and taking money away from them. When she talks about my son is unable to get a woman, he's holding up a sign that says baby killer. In other words, he's pro-life. When she talks about him no longer being able to get friends, he's at the Charlottesville rally with the neo-Nazis. So that's what she's talking about when she refers to her son. Listen now to this Tom Steyer ad saying, don't let your children vote Republican. Democrats think this is going to work in the heartland. Roll it, Brittany.
I started noticing some issues with him maybe in middle school. The stealing started out small, a few dollars here and there. Not from me, oddly enough, but from less fortunate kids. He was never afraid to talk with girls, but things never really worked out for some reason. I worried when he went to college, but he came home often. I guess he never really learned to do his own laundry. It wasn't until I met his college buddies that I realized it might be too late. Only a mother can catch the signs early. This Mother's Day, talk to your child about the GOP. I wish I had.
Now, at the end, she downs a drink. She downs like, it looks like a drink. It's supposed to be a drink. She downs what looks like a cocktail. A whole cocktail, just downs it. So, and as I told you, the pictures are, maybe we'll post the ad. Let's post the ad on WRKO.com/Cooner so everybody can see it. Okay, so go up there, see it. You'll see what I mean. So, he's at college? Well, he's hanging around with the neo-Nazis in Charlottesville. Oh, he can't find a woman? He's holding up at a pro-life rally, baby killer. I noticed money disappearing. He was stealing money. He's, literally, they show him jumping on minority kids and stealing money from their pockets. So, what are the Democrats saying? That Republicans are thieves, that they go around mugging people, that they're a bunch of racists, bullies, women haters, misogynists, and of course, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, neo-Nazis. Now, this is the ads that you guys are running? You think you're going to win votes with this? All you're doing is insulting and demonizing over half the country. If you're religious or a Christian, blank you. If you're white, blank you. If you're a male, blank you. If you work hard for your money and pay taxes, blank you. What blue wave? I've never seen. You want to talk about a completely self-destructive act? All they have now is cheap name-calling and slanderous libels. And, you keep spitting in the faces of the voters. Don't be surprised that they don't come out for you, but they come out for the opposition party. Look, if no one else has the guts to say it, I'm going to say it. The Democratic Party today is openly anti-white, anti-Semitic, anti-Christian, anti-male, anti-middle class, anti-working class, and ultimately, fundamentally, anti-normal and anti-American. This is not your dad or granddad's Democratic Party. So, guys, you want to talk about Stormy Daniels? Go right ahead. You want to keep going on about Charlottesville? Go right ahead. You want to go on about Michael Cohen in Russia? Go right ahead. Because come November, I am telling you, you keep talking impeachment, you're going to get the shock of a lifetime. Just my opinion. Agree, disagree. 617-266-6868. Eric in New Hampshire, you're up next. Thanks for holding and welcome.
Hey, Jeff Cooner.
Hey, Eric.
I called about something else, but since you're talking about this, what's his name? Tom
Steyer. He's a very prominent progressive billionaire. Yeah. He's up there with George Soros. And he's the one, if you ever watch Fox, he's cutting ads saying they should impeach Trump. Well, now he's cutting ads for the Democrats in November. This is one of them.
Oh, yeah. Every morning he's on New Hampshire News telling us to impeach Trump, right? So you go to his website. I think it's needtoimpeach.com or something.
That's right.
And you can't even contact him. All you can do is join to impeach. Like, you can't even write in. There's no contact information to, start up an argument, like, to combat what they're doing. These Democrats, they're a bunch of spoiled little brats with the most power in the country. Now, what do you do with a bunch of spoiled little brats who have control of the media, have unlimited money and resources? They're like children with huge pocketbooks and the complete wrong ideas.
Well, Eric, you're completely right. But Eric, even worse than that, what that ad is saying is this. I'll tell you what the ad is saying. That you, Eric, are a racist. That you're a neo-Nazi. That you go around hating and bullying, people of color or minorities because that's how you are, stealing their money, and that basically you hate women. So why would you possibly even consider voting for them when they're insulting you so brazenly to your face and frankly to tens and tens and millions of Americans? These people are deranged. Honestly, Eric, if this is how they're running their campaign and they think they're going to win in November, good luck. Good luck.
Yep. what I did call for is I tried to pay attention to your whole show. I got distracted. As far as the FBI hiring someone to work in Trump's campaign.
No, not hiring him. It's even worse than that. Planting him as a spy in the Trump campaign.
Right. So, what would you think if they were still part of Trump's
administration?
Administration.
Well, that's
they're still working.
That's the $64,000 question, Eric. That's why Devin Nunes, I think, is doing heroic work by trying to track down this story. We want to know who the FBI informant is and was.
Yep, and when they give that name out, I guarantee you they're employed today, spying on Trump today, right now.
Eric, thank you very much for that call. I appreciate it. Look, a lot of names are being thrown out there. Mike Pence, which I don't believe. That would really shock me. Jeff Sessions, Reince Priebus, Paul Manafort, Carter Page. So you have some people that are still with him, others who are not. It doesn't matter. What the FBI did was a gross abuse of power and one of the most criminal, illegal acts in American history. This scandal will blow the FBI's credibility and authority to pieces, and it will permanently destroy the Mueller investigation. That's why we need to find out the truth. And I'm going to get Kimberly Straisel on from the Wall Street Journal and Sarah Carter, and we're going to flesh it out for you here on the Cooner Report. I got to go. I need another hour. Jeff Cooner, Boston's bulldozer. And together, we're cleaning up the liberal bull.
The Cooner Report is powered by Kelly Financial Services. 888-800-1881. Get the peace of mind that you deserve at Kelly Financial Services. The voice of Boston is you. 680 WRKO Boston, 100.7 WZLX HD2 Boston, an iHeart radio station.